You know when you tell your friend that you should start a podcast?
That's what we did.
Hi, my name is Tati.
And my name is Esme.
This is the Soul and Sips podcast.
Come and have a sip with us. Hello.
Hello.
Pumi. Pumi is like, what? Who are you talking to?
Yeah, we have a very behind-the-scene assistant. That's just laying on the floor sleeping.
Oh.
And I got scared when we say hello.
And she's fluffy.
Fluffy and cute.
Fluffy and cute.
Yes.
Girl, how are you?
Good. It's been a rough weekend.
Yeah.
I have not like a health scare now, but like I was just kind of sick. Something like happened, and I was in like a lot of pain. And you came over, mayhem.
Yeah, crazy.
But I'm doing well. It's okay now.
Yeah. You could rest a lot after that.
Yeah.
That was good.
So that was good, but all good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I don't know. I still just like this last episode, I think.
Yeah.
That I said that there's just a lot going on.
A
in my
lot
life.
going on, yeah.
And I feel like a lot of like big changes are coming for some reason. I don't know. So
Yeah, it's just a lot going on. I
yeah.
get it. I mean, for me, it's not going on, but
But it's fun. Like it's nice.
Yeah.
But it's also it fills up my head. You know,
Yeah.
a lot.
yeah, I get it.
Like most of the things are actually everything is mostly just fun. So I'm not complaining. It's
We're
just
not
it's a
complaining.
lot.
I know,
You know,
it's a lot.
at the same time, but it's good.
But it's good. It's good. I do have to admit the weather is kind of weird because it's hot, but it's like humid.
Yeah.
And I don't like it.
No, it's like it's hot, but it's not very sunny.
No.
So yes, you
Very
can spend
sticky.
time outside, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's very sticky. I don't like it. But it's okay. I prefer this than... Well, do I prefer this than cold? I don't know. I do like my coldness, so
Yeah.
I'm getting annoyed by that. I know I'm from Colombia. I know I get it. I'm from the place where it's cold in Colombia, so
Yeah.
this is not normal for me still.
Well, I'm going on holiday soon.
Oh, again.
So that's also why we are recording multiple episodes.
Yeah. Also because things happen and we have to move certain episodes.
There were some unforeseen circumstances.
Yes.
And now we needed to kind of mix up the planning.
Yeah. So you guys are gonna see us multiple times.
Yeah.
And
Just,
miss
yeah.
somebody's going on holiday because somebody booked a holiday trip before my birthday.
Oh my god, I'm never gonna stop hearing this.
No.
I did not
I
book
love
it, by the way. It was a gift.
It's okay. It's
It
okay.
was a gift.
At least she's coming back the day before my
I'm coming
birthday.
there also back the day before your birthday, so it's not like I will miss it.
I know, but almost heartbroken.
Oh, okay. Sip of the day. We have from the same brand that we had
Yes,
recently.
I really liked it.
It's the brand is Punchy, and we both really like it. And this
Yeah.
one is blueberry. I
Yeah.
have not tried this
Me neither.
flavor yet.
I saw it next to the mango one and I was like, let me try that because I really like the mango one. Okay, again, some ASMR.
Ah. This is not going well. I just did my nails.
The nails. Yeah, I never do it with my nails.
No, I used to. I did it also with my fingers. See?
Because I have like really weak
Yeah.
nails. So I learned how to do stuff without my nails because my nails will break even if I look at them. So like I put my finger on the side.
Oh yeah, yeah. I did the same now, but I just like. So I put like fake nails yesterday, and I almost never have them. And I always have to get used to when I do it. I really have to get used to it because they're so thick compared to your own nails. So that's why I'm like need to get used to it.
Yeah, you have to get used to.
I wanted to do it before the holiday.
Yeah.
But let's try it. Did you try it already?
Oh yeah, it's nice. I do
Oh, yeah.
like more the mango one. I
Yeah.
think the blueberry, I like it, but you know how I feel blueberry is such a flavor that has in its medicine.
Yeah.
So it tastes a little bit like medicine.
Yeah.
And it's not about the
know what
flavor.
you
It's just
mean.
like I feel the blueberry is just when you have medicine like a cough medicine, blueberry can be a flavor.
Yeah, true.
So then
Yeah.
I associate the flavor with that. But it's not
Yeah.
nice, it's really nice. I like it.
It is really nice.
Oh, I like it. I do like the mango more, but like I say, I like more mango flavor things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the topic for today,
The topic. Oh yeah, the topic
Miss
for
Man.
today is belonging.
oh,
Cute.
cute.
It sounds again pretty heavy, I think, but
We're
it's
gonna
not
make it
gonna be
silly.
heavy, guys. You know us by now.
With silly.
And how we came up with the topic, honestly, I don't know. I think it just kind of comes up as a topic when you don't live where you're from.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, if you have to move for different reasons, or if you decide to move, then you start questioning yourself, like, where do I actually belong?
Yeah.
And also, like, I feel that a lot of, like, when you grow up with, like, identity, it is when you're from. And then once you start moving apart, then you're like, oh, where actually who I am? Like, what the fuck I am?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, this year is gonna be 10 years since I left Colombia.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that's a lot, like, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's
And
a long time.
But then I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm still Colombian, but like, I have a lot of things that I don't align with Colombian culture and all that, just because, I mean, I've been living away from home for like 10 years. So
Yeah.
how can I cannot be the same person.
No.
Also,
exactly.
I was like on my 20s, so like, you change a lot in your 20s.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, of course. Like, you completely become a different person, basically, I think, in your 20s.
Yeah. So add that to like be in another place.
Yeah.
That is completely different.
Crazy. And what is something that makes you, like, truly feel at home, no matter where you are? Something that you could have on the other side of the world and you would feel like, oof, feels like home.
I have this before, and it's when a mom cooks. No matter which mom.
And it doesn't also matter what kind of food.
No. It's like when a mom, when a
so
mom
cute.
cooks, and then you go
Yeah.
somewhere, and then like a mom cooks for you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, yes. I don't know. It really doesn't matter what is it.
Yeah.
It just feels extremely homey, and it just feels so nice. I'm like, oh yes, mom. No matter which mom, I'm like, any mom.
That's so cute.
Yeah, that's how. Like, yeah, I just thought about it.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I was thinking more in the sense of, like, you know, types of food and stuff. But I cannot really think of anything. I think it's mostly, for me, almost this thing that's, like, impossible. Doesn't matter where I am, but if all the people, like, all my family and stuff are also there, then it feels like home. But that's very difficult. That almost never happens.
Yeah, of course, that's difficult.
You know, where, for example, on my wedding, I think I will feel at home because I will have basically all the people I love
That's
there.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Well, I get it, but then you still live where your parents live.
Yeah.
Like, I have to somehow find happiness in home.
Yeah.
Away from my parents.
Yeah, exactly.
And actually, when I go to visit them, because they don't live anymore where like I was living when I wasn't there with them.
Yeah.
So it just feels different when I go and visit them. It doesn't, like, it's not the room that I grew up with. No. It's not the room where I cry for all the boys and, you know, like all those memories. Yeah. It's not that, so it's like feels a little weird.
That just has never really been your home.
Yeah, exactly. So then it just feels weird to come back. It doesn't feel home in a way like that, because it doesn't have those memories. Yeah. And then also, like, it does feel a little more home when I go to my grandparents. But again, they already changed. They didn't change. Like, they still live in the same house, but they changed certain things at the house. And I don't know why it is, but when I come back, it feels that everything is so tiny.
Oh, that's
like,
funny.
the doors are like tinier, the sink is so tiny, the toilet is so tiny, the kitchen is lower. Like, I don't know if it's like,
so funny.
Like in Europe or in the Netherlands, I feel that things are very tall. Like, I remember when I'm like in my grandparents' house, if I really stretch a little, I can touch the ceiling. You could never do this here.
No.
So I think for me, home is not a place anymore.
No, exactly.
It's really the people. I However, Amsterdam does feel really home for me.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Like when I like came back from my parents like recently, and the next day I just went and grabbed my bike and then went swimming. I'm like, this feels like home. It's like, oh, back to my bike, back to my pool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think once you create a life somewhere, it's just gonna start feeling like home.
Yeah.
Like pretty quickly, honestly.
Yeah. And also like the people, like I also feel like home at your place too.
Yeah.
When we chill, it's like it's also become
Exactly.
so normal. I come, I know where things are.
Yeah. No,
But
that's
it's also the people. I'm like, I know I'm
Yes.
comfortable there.
Yeah. I think I really look for home mostly in people.
Mm-hmm. I think that's how it should be. You know, it's nice to have somebody that like you feel home and at peace at. You know, like when you see them, you're like, oh, like all the worries goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like when you feel like home.
Yeah. And have you ever pretended to like something to fit in somewhere?
You had
Culturally or not culturally,
Yeah.
it can also be.
before context, before we record, as my plans the questions and I read them, so I kind of think about my answers too and all that.
Yeah.
And I read that one and I was like, a lot in Colombia.
That's funny.
Which is really funny.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, actually, the one thing that comes to my mind is music. Like, when I used to live in Colombia, I didn't like Spanish music. Like, I didn't like reggaeton. I didn't like all that.
Oh,
However, you grew up with them, so you know them.
Yeah.
Like, I know all those old reggaeton songs because I just grew up with them and you know them and you listen around. But it's not like they were in my playlist, back then, in my MP4.
Yeah.
Like if you go through like my music of my iPod or something, there was the Jonas Brothers, there was One Direction, there was like all this like literally there was not a single Spanish song in that iPod. I don't know, I just
That's
never
crazy.
liked
Now
them.
you do.
Yeah, like I never liked it. And then of course now that I left the country and I realized that I would just have a white taste music. I realized that like, oh, I cannot miss a little bit of that music. Like I don't think if I was living in Colombia I would be so obsessed with like Bad Bunny or Karol G. Now that I'm like outside, it's kind of like, oh, that reminds me of that. So like I listen to that. It's different.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
What about you?
Well, it is kind of the same with the music. Like I remember when I was very young. Like of course, all my friends were listening to Dutch music, but I just always hated it. I don't really have a reason why. Because it didn't matter what kind of music it was. Like, you have Dutch rap, you have Dutch pop songs, you have different kinds of Dutch music. But I just never listened to any Dutch, and still don't.
Yeah.
I just have, like, maybe one song that I like. And that's from a Surinamese singer, and he sings in Dutch.
No, you don't listen to.
So I kind of have the same with the music. I just never enjoyed it. And so here you have this thing that when you are 11, 12, you have like, or sometimes the school organizes like a school disco night.
Yeah.
So you're at that age where you start to go into puberty a little bit, and
you discover boys.
You discover boys
or girls.
or girls or whatever. And I just remember that we would then go to disco, and then every time there would be a Dutch song, I would be that girl that just like would sit down or like stand against the wall with my arms wrapped like this. And be like, I'm not gonna listen to this music, I don't like it. Like, I don't know, like really in a pathetic way.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I will do that with the Spanish music in like kind of my disco parties that we do in school too.
Yeah.
But the thing in like I felt in school in Colombia is like no matter what song you will dance to it. And the songs, the Spanish like reggaeton and salsa and all that, you dance to them.
Yeah.
So I was there for the vibes.
Yeah.
And that's how I also know all those songs. Like
it's
not now I do like it and I appreciate them, but it's not like they're on my playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny. I do.
So I was that girl.
Yeah, I do like some Dutch songs. Well, not really, but I think it's just funny.
Yeah, I can
Like,
imagine if you were.
when we go to a trip and then like somebody from work, we have this specific person in our mind. He
Yeah.
puts music.
Yeah, exactly. I
puts
know
this
exactly what
specific
you're talking about.
Dutch song. And at this point, I'm like, I think I kind of know the song because we listen so much because he keeps putting that song or that kind of music.
Yeah.
And I just think it's funny. They're like, ah, and I'm like, ah.
Yeah.
It is fun.
I don't like it.
It is
I do
funny.
have to say, it also was not something that I listened to at home.
Yeah.
And my parents also never listened to Dutch music.
Yeah, also
honestly.
with my parents will never listen to reggaeton. Because, if you don't know, if you ever look the lyrics of any reggaeton music, questionable, very questionable lyrics. And I don't know, I feel that sometimes parents think that whatever you listen, you're gonna do it.
And then you're like, aye.
Which is not true. It's just a song. So my parents really hated that we listen to the music. Like, they will not listen to the music at all. And then they will like, oh, you listen to your music in English. Which some of music in English are also questionable. But they don't understand back then. So then they were fine. But not all the music. Like, I'm talking mostly just about reggaeton. Like, my dad really likes salsa and merengue and all that. And that's like, I do love that music. And sometimes I do have a playlist for that music. Also, questionable lyrics if you really, if you really pay attention.
Listen.
Some of them. No, I think now not anymore. But really of the old salsa or merengue music are really questionable too. We have a whole song like singing about slavery. Not
you
promoting
told me
slavery,
that.
but it's kind of telling the story of like how slaves were in Colombia. Like, and it sounds very hard topic and very sad, but you listen to it, you're like,
Yeah, you told me this before about that song, and Javi also said it.
Yeah, so we have the songs. So we have really sad lyric songs, but the music is so hype. Then you just can't forget about actually what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is really funny. But there's some, well, I wouldn't say Dutch music, but there a lot of like DJs are Dutch.
Yeah,
and I do
true.
like the music. So like,
Yeah, that's also the thing. I
That's the
don't
best.
like that music, and I never liked it. Like the electronic, like techno and house and like that type of style is just really not my thing.
yeah,
And the Dutch DJs, yeah, obviously they have a lot of that music.
yeah,
But they are good. Yeah, they go
yeah, they're really good.
everywhere. Dutch DJs.
I do like that. Yeah.
Yeah, not my thing. I don't know. I just cannot enjoy it. I'm like, this is not beautiful, right? It's not beautiful. Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, there is a science behind it. I don't know. I'm not a music expert.
I think the science behind it is some pills or something, because I think I always hear that's the only way you can really enjoy that music.
No, that is a lie. Because hear me out.
Hot take.
Hear me out. There is this festival in the Netherlands for hardstyle music, which is a very electronic, like boom, 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 like this.
Yeah.
I've been to it. I went once. I was not high. I was not on drugs. I had the time of my life. It was amazing. I was just jumping around with people, jumping, dancing. We were like it was fun. I didn't have drugs, and I have the best time of life.
I think it's boring because it's just the same all the time.
No.
Okay, but we just agreed to disagree on this topic. But
No.
we
But like
each
I
have our own-
understand, there's some people that don't like it, some people that like it, and that's
Yeah,
completely
exactly.
completely fine.
Everybody their own taste.
But you don't have to be in drugs. That's like my thing, hot take. But I don't think you need to be in drugs to enjoy it. It's just the vibe, and I feel I go more for the vibe than
the music itself.
the music itself, because it was fun.
Yeah. Interesting. And do you blend in easily in new environments?
I think I do.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know. I think I do. I think, like, for example, when I travel, I try to like blend with the people, you know?
Yeah.
Of course, depends when you travel, you're not gonna blend at all. But I try. But I like really looking at people a lot and then just doing what they're doing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And it's kind of like, but it's also kind of like, I guess, like a safety thing, you know? Because if you don't stand up, then you're less of a target.
Yeah, true.
And I think me as a Latina, you have that. You have to blend it, so then you're not a target. I feel like I can do that. I don't know. I'm not a very judgy person. Like I think so.
Yeah.
Well, depends. I'm not judgy once I met somebody for the first time. Once the
Only before? Or
No,
way after?
way after. Like if I meet somebody, I will never like assume anything to them. You know, this is what I mean.
Yeah.
Then I get to know them or
Yeah.
like hear more and all that. Then I will start judging.
Yeah.
But not like at the beginning. At the beginning, I will be like, "You're a human being. I'm gonna introduce myself." But then if you show me you're gonna be a horrible person, then I will judge
Yeah.
internally with my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I think I do, but I also have to say I think like whenever I have spent like more time outside of the Netherlands, I have always been around like just international people. You know what I mean? So, for example,
Yeah, that's
when
true.
I was 18, I went to Bali to teach English in a school, which was only a couple of weeks, but yeah, that was the first experience for me to really go somewhere else and like,
Yeah.
you know, have a life because I actually had a routine there. I
Yeah.
had breakfast, then I would go to school, you know, teach, and then I had lunch, and I just had this whole routine.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just remember that was an example of like, I don't know, I was with people from France, from the US, from all different kinds of places, and I just really, really like that. That I honestly feel like my the environment I fit in most is like the international environment. Like here also, I'm only with people like this. No,
Oh, there you
it sounds so weird, but I just like that because everybody's from different parts of the world, and yeah, you can just connect on some things, and some things are very different.
Yeah.
But I like that because it just makes you see who that person is for who they are, and not for where they're from or something.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was the same. So for example, I went to Spain to learn Spanish for a couple of weeks, and it was the same there. And I went to Singapore, of course, for studying.
Yeah.
That was like really the longest experience that I had. And then, of course, you have a whole routine and everything too.
Yeah.
And I did feel like I was really at home, like in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I feel like
you get used to.
I can feel like home very quickly, honestly. I can adjust very easily to new environments.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you travel or do that, you kind of also have to do it in a way.
You have to.
Because it's kind of annoying. You cannot really enjoy a place if you really feel, if you're thinking all the time, oh, I want to go home, I want to go home.
Yeah.
Like if you keep thinking that all the time, then it's kind of annoying. Like in a long trip, only at the end, I'm kind of like, okay, I want to go home. But
yeah, but that's really an example because I have never been homesick, for example, whenever I did those things, like when I did those things for like, so like imagine 18-year-old girl for like 3 weeks away. I was not homesick.
Yeah, no, especially
I was like,
18,
I could stay longer.
Yeah,
I could stay longer, or like in Singapore as well. Like for 6 months, I did not have I was not homesick like ever.
Yeah, that's true. I actually wonder when I did feel homesick. I mean, I did a lot in the States. Like, especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot. And then it's kind of, this is a classic teenager thing of like, oh, I want to leave home. And then you leave and you're like, oh,
yeah, you're like,
mommy, mommy.
Now I have to be an adult.
Yeah, you have to be an adult. But then, yeah, it's kind of like, in a way, you kind of get used to.
Yeah.
And then I feel this still, sometimes I feel homesick, but it's like, not home. I feel my mom. I miss my grandma. I miss my dad. Like it's more home. It's like home people sick.
Yeah.
than like
a
place.
Yeah.
I do feel that.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow.
Yeah, I also have not ever had an experience where I really lived somewhere else for years, and like where it was way more difficult to see my parents or something, because that will be difficult.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how that will be.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part.
I also think so, because then you're also starting to, have all these big things in life or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, and then
Yeah, and then they're not there there for you. But I think I also try to like understand my parents. Is like, it's also hard for them. Yeah. Like it's not just for you; it's also hard for them. But like, I feel that's how when you like try to like communicate and like try to talk more
Yeah.
and schedule calls and all that and be open and talk them and visit them.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel I'm getting better at that with my parents because I don't think it was great before, but I think now it's good.
Yeah, I also can imagine that you need some time to, yeah, how do you say that? To kind of adjust or something, or to find a routine with somebody that lives so far away to keep in touch.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially if you, before that, were not used to having to do
Yeah.
that.
Before, like, it's also so weird, like, before you don't have to do it, now you have to be very conscious about, like, when you call them, and for example, the only thing that really annoys me sometimes is the time difference.
Yeah.
Because it is like 6-7 hours sometimes. So then it's like, oh, I need to check, like, when I wake up, they're like in the middle of the night. When they wake up, I already have half of the day.
Yeah.
And it's really funny. Sometimes my mom like forgets about that. And I'm like, Mom,
Yeah.
I already have a whole day.
Yeah.
So it's really funny. But yeah, you just have to create a routine with them and really honest. Like, I don't know. I feel we live in 2025. There's so many ways to communicate.
Yeah.
Like with my sister, we like talk all the time, and then it's funny. Like my sister is kind of the person is like we talking something in Instagram and something in WhatsApp, but then we also send stuff in TikTok.
Yeah.
So we have like 3 conversations going on
At the same time.
And then sometimes she send me on the Snapchat, and we're talking about that. It's just like
Everywhere.
Yeah. So I still feel like close to her.
Yeah. Yeah, you can find your way,
Yeah.
And have you ever been mistaken for a local in a place where you were not from? Do people ever think you are Dutch here? Just by looking at you?
I don't think so. I think no, I don't. I don't know. I've been mistaken by like some like Russian or Eastern European.
That people think you are from there?
Yeah. Also because if they don't know me and they just say like my name, and my name Tatiana is like a Russian name, and it's really common in Eastern European. So then that's what they think. And when they look at me, like it kind of will make sense a little bit, like dark eyes, dark hair. It makes sense.
Could be, yeah.
But honestly, nobody has mentioned to me that I'm from Colombia or Latin America. That was never a thing. I'm not from there. Because when I tell them, they kind of clicks and they're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really, it's not the first thing that people think of me, which is really funny. Because, I mean, I am from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm turning too white.
Oh, funny.
I know, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But yeah, what about you?
Well, actually, all the time here in Amsterdam, people think I'm not Dutch. That's what I know.
Yeah.
Like, they don't think I'm Dutch, so they just start speaking to me in English, and sometimes I just speak that back in English because, I'm not gonna put all... Yeah, I don't know, it's not that much effort to speak Dutch, but it really depends on the moment. Sometimes I feel like it, sometimes I just act like I cannot understand Dutch.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Hey, sometimes you can be like, I'm sorry, I'm not from here, I'm confused.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, it's just funny, right? Because I don't know, I'm from here, I was born
really
here.
Funny. That's really funny.
Yeah, and they really don't think...
You know what I do blame with Charlotte, I don't know why. It's mostly for your height. You're very tiny.
Yeah, maybe that has to do.
It's really weird because your dad and your mom are pretty tall.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the height forgot to height.
There's no real logic. I think my grandmas were both quite short.
Yeah.
So
then that makes sense. But yeah,
I skipped one generation or something because my parents are both tall.
Yeah, your siblings are, so your brothers are.
My brothers are 2 meters.
Yeah, exactly. So it really, I feel if I was just seeing you, I will say you're not Dutch, but because of that.
Oh yeah, because of the height.
Yeah, because
and
Dutch
obviously a lot of
tall.
people think also my hair.
Yeah, but it's so cute.
Yeah, but like people, I don't know, they just look at me and like they can really know.
Yeah.
They don't know where I'm from. Like, I really heard everything. I heard France.
France?
Also, I don't
know.
Syria.
Syria?
Yeah, Syria and like really countries from everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know, for me, you're also so dodgy too. Like,
yeah, no, I don't know. People cannot really, put me in a box very easily when they meet me
Yeah.
for the first time.
I think that's fun.
Yeah. That's
Just
fine.
like guess. I
Yeah.
feel for me too. The moment if I don't speak, I feel the moment I speak, then my accent comes out, then game
Then
over.
they know. Then,
Then
like,
game
ah.
over. But and I feel my accent is not even that strong. Sometimes it depends. Depends how tired I am. the more tired I am, the worse it gets. But comparing to other people, I feel that other people, when they speak Spanish, if they speak Spanish, their English is really like, example, Sofia Vergara. Like, I don't speak like her.
Yeah, okay.
So,
no, but yeah.
but yeah, you still hear it, and I feel if I don't speak, then they can like start guessing, but like,
Yeah.
But one thing I know for sure is that when I used to live in America, they don't know. Like, they will assume, and I know right now it's a thing that like they ask you, oh, where are you from? And then even if somebody that is from there, but they have like grandparents, they moved from somewhere else, and they're like, oh, but where are you really from? I think that's very annoying.
Yeah.
And it's also kind of like, I feel they say it on such a judgy way, like, but where you really from?
Yeah.
And it's like, why would you care?
Yeah.
Like, it's okay asking, oh, where are you from? That's completely fine.
Yeah.
That's a normal question. But it's like, but where you really from? It's like, why are you asking me that? Excuse me, no.
Yeah.
I'm from my mommy's belly.
Yeah, exactly. No, but
Yeah,
with
like,
the
that's really
accents also,
annoying.
because I mean, obviously, I think you can hear also with my like I have a little bit of an accent.
Yeah, you have like Dutch accent. Like,
yeah, and like sometimes Dutch people would know.
Yeah.
You know that I'm Dutch if I speak a lot, then they will know.
Yeah.
And
But-
some people know right away
Yeah.
when I say like nice to meet you or something. Oh, and my name is very Dutch. Or
Oh.
my name
yeah,
is
that's
like
true.
if somebody in the Netherlands sees my name, they're like, oh, yeah. She's
Yeah.
probably
Well,
Dutch.
yeah, you told me that.
Not my last name, but my first name.
Yeah, you told me that, which I'm like, I think it's very. You're the only Esme I know, so.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I know like 4 others. Yeah.
That is so funny. I don't.
It's not a very special name. So.
You're my only Esme. You're the only Esme in my heart. It's the same.
But it also, I don't know. I feel also it depends on the type of person that you meet or something, because.
Yeah, it also depends. We joke, this is a friend between my friends. Please don't do that to anybody if you don't know them. Just me and my friends, close people. We always joke that I'm from Mexico.
Yeah, because all the Latin American people are from Mexico.
Yes, because there's always this like assumption of like, oh, Latin American, like, oh, Mexico.
Yeah, but I think I think it's probably because of like culture, like American like US culture.
Yeah, US culture and how Mexicans and crossing the border.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, but also the whole Latin America
There's
was so many countries under that.
Yeah.
I was like, if you speak Spanish, Mexico. And I'm like, it's not.
No.
We do joke about this.
Yeah.
Close friends, we know it. It's not offense. Like, don't do this to anybody. Like,
No.
really, it's not nice if you don't know that. It's really disrespectful.
Yeah.
We do it with my friends. It's fine. My close people. But yeah, don't do that. But I don't know why they do that. It's so annoying that they ask you where you're from if you have a little accent. And I also was very annoyed when they will ask like, oh, like speak English correctly, or you don't speak English fine. I'm like,
excuse me, how many languages do you speak?
yeah, exactly. What many things? Did you know what my brain?
Yeah.
How my brain is? My mess. Like, no. Yeah, they will blame you because like, oh, you don't speak English well, or when I go there and then I say something, I order something like, oh, your English is so well. I'm like, yeah, I live here for 4 years.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, that's very annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. So I met somebody here and they were like telling me, actually in Spanish, they were telling me, oh, you need to learn Spanish because I'm with Javi and his family as well. Obviously, everybody speaks Spanish. And then I was like, sorry, but excuse me? I don't have to. I already speak 2 languages, maybe 3. Like, I was also just explaining this morning to Javi that here in school, so you get Dutch and English, but you also get a 3rd language, so French or German when I was a kid. Now you can also choose for Spanish and Mandarin Chinese.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
in a lot of schools.
Yeah.
But so I had like 6 years of French. So my French is okay.
okay.
It kind of drifted a bit
Yeah,
in the
of
past
course.
years. But honestly, when that person said that, I was like, sorry, but excuse me, you only speak one language. I speak two, and Spanish will be my third.
Yeah.
Like
Like,
sorry,
like,
but and
no.
also sorry,
And-
but you are here,
You are here, then you speak
and you
Dutch
are not
or
speaking
English.
English or Dutch.
Yeah, so then you should. Yeah, I also
I don't know. I just thought it was very like that's not nice thing to say.
No, I don't think that's nice to think. And like for example, I think like I don't expect my partner to learn my language.
No.
I feel that in just daily life, you will start getting words
Yeah,
and all that,
yeah.
and you will learn a little bit. And then when you spend time with his parents and all that, you start getting words and all that. That's understandable. You start getting the language, but you probably won't be fluent, and that's okay. Like I won't expect
Yeah.
my partner to learn my language just because I speak it. Like you can know some sentences. Like I feel that's me as my job, as like teach you some sentences, teach you some certain things that you can use. Like if he's meeting my parents, then I'll be like, hey, you could say this and this and this and
Yeah.
explain it. But I will never expect
No.
them to like
No, you should
learn
never
my language.
expect. No,
Like-
exactly. And that also doesn't mean that like you don't want to, because maybe you want to learn
Yeah.
your partner's language, or I want to learn Spanish.
yeah.
I do. That's like a side, that's
Yeah,
not the thing here.
Yeah, that's another
It's,
thing. Like you shouldn't never force or assume
No.
somebody should learn a language just because they're going somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like even when I'm going to travel, I try to learn like just hello, no, yeah, like
in the
basics
local
in the language,
Yeah.
just to like, no, I'm not gonna learn the
Yeah.
whole language. Like also, do you know how hard it is to learn another language?
Yeah.
Like it is
exactly.
pretty
That's the
hard.
thing.
And your brain, like of course, the older you get, is more difficult. And it's like, hey, I already make my effort to speak 2 languages, and that's already enough for my brain right now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm putting Dutch in there, but that's a problem for me later.
Yeah.
I make this to myself, and I just like yourself had to make that decision of learning another language, not be forced by somebody else or just assume that you have to learn the language.
Yeah.
That's just very annoying.
Yeah. So this week we don't really have a dilemma, but we have more like a hot take. Or like a statement, and then we just see what we both think about it. And I think you kind of already mentioned it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So the hot take is the question, where are you from, is offensive.
Yeah,
You kind of already mentioned
I didn't
it.
mention that. Yeah, but like, I don't think the question itself is offensive. It also depends, like where it's asked
And when.
and when.
And how.
Yeah, yeah.
It depends on the whole circumstance.
It's the whole situation. Like when we travel and there's a group of international people, where are you from? That's completely normal.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
a completely normal
Yeah.
question to ask. If like, for example, at the beginning when I went to university, and I was I was in an international orientation, of course they will ask you where you're from. That's completely fine. But if you are, let's say, on a store and somebody does like a small talk and they ask you where you're from, I feel that that's very annoying. Like if, let's say, if I'm in the store right now, I buy something and somebody asks me like, where are you from? Then I'm like,
Why do you need to know?
why would you care?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think also in that situation, you can ask it. Where I think it becomes offensive is if they put an assumption in it. So
Yeah.
if they ask me where I'm from and I'm like, well, I'm from here, and then they're like, no, but like, you look different.
Yeah.
Or like, but where do you? So to me, for example, they say, but where do you get your hair from? Or
Yeah.
oh, but where are your parents from then? Because you don't look like you're from here. So
Yeah,
I think
that's
that's
annoying.
where it's like offensive, because they
Yeah.
put an assumption in it.
Yeah. And
And-
also the follow-on questions. I'm like,
Yeah.
because if they ask you where you're from, you're just like, oh, the Netherlands. And then they
Yeah.
ask you, oh, but where your parents are from, or where
Yeah.
you come from. Then that becomes more offensive.
Yeah, it becomes a little bit more offensive, and it's also, I don't know, like it really depends on the person, because if you know that somebody has good intentions and they're just genuinely curious,
Yeah.
then I also don't mind. But sometimes it's annoying because I honestly have to like go back in like, you know, my
Generation.
ancestors, yeah, like
Generations.
telling them, oh yeah, my grandfather was from Dominica, they moved to Suriname.
Yeah.
And then, you know, from Suriname, my dad lived in Suriname for when he was like a small kid until he was 12. And then he moved to the Netherlands, but he was born in the Netherlands, so officially
Yeah,
he
so
is
he's,
also
he's
he
from
is
here,
fully,
but
like
he
Dutch.
yeah.
But half Dutch, I don't know. Like
Yeah,
it's just
it's
you
so-
have to explain a lot. So if you're asking me and you genuinely want to know, you're gonna get the whole story.
Yeah, the whole story is like just your problem for you for asking. Yeah, that it just depends how you. I feel that if you go to a person and trying to be nice and even saying like, "Hey, this is not to offend you, but like where you're from or something," like, then they're like, "Oh, okay." Like if it comes from really curiosity, like I feel that sometimes I even want to ask, like, not controversial questions, but I'm like, this comes from curiosity because I really don't know. And then I ask.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm
you
like,
just
I'm
kind of
like,
mention it.
I know this might sound dumb. I'm stupid. I don't know. This is come from curiosity. But can I ask you this?
Yeah, exactly.
And then I ask, and they really don't take this bad because I'm like, I just don't know. I just want to know.
Yeah,
I'm
but
curious.
that's what I mean. Like you can bring it in a polite way.
Yeah, you can always bring it in a polite way if you really curious. But if you're assuming that, then keep that assumption in your head. It's really not necessary.
Exactly.
But yeah.
That's it for today.
With that, we end the episode of today.
I don't know why we just had
We're like
an awkward moment.
looking at the camera.
No, but like, comment, subscribe.
See.
Of course, all the things.
Hi,
And-
mommy.
Oh yeah, and send us some topics that you would like to see us talking about.
Yes. And I see you next week. Doei.
Doei.